Well, it's kind of a windy day, but I already took the pistons out and inspected this pump. This is the devair 447 I've got, and yeah, it needs a crank and needs two high-side pistons, which I got. I got the pots downstairs, but now I'm gonna pull it apart and try to get that crank out. I might not have to remove these. I just want to remove both plates and try to pull the crank out. Hopefully the bearings won't get stuck. So, here goes. There's a CPR to remove on the other side. I don't know which one I'm gonna need to remove. The crank pulls from this side here. There's a bolt that locks the crank in. So I gotta remove one here, one on the other side, and I'm gonna crack this cover. Hopefully it's gonna hold pull out, and I won't have to mess with these. They already loosened up because I took the pistons out, and they've been clean and all that. And I've also got to yeah, should have done that before. We gotta drain the oil first. Now I'm making a mess. There we go. Kind of jerry-rigged an holder for my can. And I'm just gonna stack those both while it drains, because I don't want to wait forever. Now I'm going to remove the CPR. This is pretty gummed up. Yeah, no, I don't like the look of that. But yeah, just gonna remove the bolt, and then I'll show you how that works. So this is the CPR. It's just like a governor. So what it does, when the crank starts to spin, it flings those things out, and then it closes the pressure line. See, it's on spring. So what it does is, when this slows down and it stops, it bleeds the air from the line, both lines that go to the tank, so that when the compressor starts up again, it doesn't have to push through the pressure that's already there. So that's what this thing does. So and we have the crank right there, and the bearing is underneath. So I'm gonna try to pop this cover off. Go. That's one cap. Okay, so I took a break and charged the camera so you wouldn't lose any action. And yeah, the oil is mostly gone. So I'll close the cap and flip the pump over so I can remove the business end of the case and pull that crank out. There you go. Kind of surprised me, but you got it. Now, there you go. Gonna have to replace that seal as well. I got one new. This one, yeah, it's kind of worn out. It'll work, it doesn't leak, but I'd rather just replace it. Now we got those rings. These are important. Let's not break them. Remove this. Gonna release the rings. Now gotta get those rings all the way to the back. Now, and yeah, got to be really careful not to break those rings. Need to reuse them. Now we have that crank. And now with the head removed, I can get the pickup ring. So these are the ring that they pick up the oil in the crankcase and they bring it up to the bearing journals. And the only thing they need to be is straight, and they're good. So what you do is you pick up both of them. You place them face to face, and if they line up, they're good. I really doubt that they are damaged or anything. There's nothing to make them bend. So I guess they're good, but we'll check them. I'll wipe that other one. But yeah, they're too big to go through the same hole as the crank. So you gotta remove a head. Let's see. And as you can see, they're extremely straight with no bends. So they are reusable, and that's what we'll do. We reuse everything we can. Okay, so I'll put the head back on it. So I got a little bit of room on the bench here, so I can put the crank there and show you. It's a really good unit. You can kill anything if you don't do oil changes and basic maintenance, basic checks. It doesn't take much to just take off this guy here and put a gauge on it and check that everything is working fine and the valve are doing good. Because yeah, there's another thing that broke up. It's the one of the valve, which meant this is what I first picked up on that compressor is it was bleeding air through here, and usually what it means it's a bad input valve on the high side. So like this one breaks, both pistons they're pretty much working one against the other, and air comes out of this, so it renders the whole head here pretty much junk and not pumping air. So all the load transfer to the other pump, the other side, and yeah, not a good thing. So let's see that crank, shall we? Ta-da! And here is the crank. This is the setback. This is not something I expected. I expected bad bearings, bad sleeves. They kind of just like a car engine. They just got in the connecting rod. You have a bronze sleeve or whatever metal they use, aluminum sometimes. But I thought that was the source of the knock. But the knock is way worse than that because this wore out. So this is a good journal. Two piston fit on there, a big and a small one. And yeah, this here, well, it was missing oil. So the pickup ring didn't pick up oil from the crankshaft. It didn't send oil into that groove there that feeds these little holes. So it ran dry on the bearing, and this is what happened. It's missing well over 2 millimeters. So there's nothing you can do with that except welding on top and then machining it, putting it in the machine in the lathe specifically made for a crankshaft. And we have only 2 in a province here in Montreal. There's 2 of them. You can send the crank over there, and it's between $400 and $550 to fix that crank, which is still a bargain because this crank, and I kid you not, is $1,800. So this is not a cheap pump. This is a $4,500 pump, and yeah, this crank alone is $1,800. So yeah, still a bargain there, but yeah, I found a good one, good used one. It's been turned once to 10,000, so I got oversized bearing to put on it. It was going to be perfect, so that's what I'm going to use. The last thing I'm worrying about is these bearings. I need to remove those guys. They're perfect, so I don't want to break them. So yeah, I'm probably going to be able to put the bearing splitter behind there and pull those out. Otherwise, well, I'm gonna have to trash them and get new ones. I don't think they're gonna be cheap though, so they might be standard. I don't know, I haven't checked yet, but obviously not cheap. Sorry there. So yeah, that's what happened to devair 447. So here are the pistons. The smaller one, which are for the high pressure side, they have play, so this is not good. Connecting rods are good, but there's nothing I can do with them because yeah, I just bought a whole two sets of connecting rod and pistons, and the big ones they're good, just dirty. So started cleaning them up, and yeah, they're fine. There's no play whatsoever. The other pistons, they are this one is really scored up, but the cylinder is good. So I don't know, some mechanic must have worked on it and changed the cylinders, but they put back the bad pistons in there. They're scored. This one is scored. The other one is not scored, but they both have a wrist pin knock, so they're not good. And I bought 2 more, so big ones, they're good. Just need to build a little bit of a clean, and it'll be fine. I'm dipping the other one. You cannot dip those in a caustic solution because the big piston, they are aluminum, and the small piston, they are steel. So the steel one, well, you can do it, but not the big ones. And as far as the crank goes, let me get that out. This here is my new crank. So it's the same thing. It came out of a 445, so it's older, but yeah, the bearing's perfectly fine. That one as well, and this one has been turned 10 mil, so 10,000th of an inch. And in this big box is the other parts. And as you can see, I got for the crank 445. It's the same bottom end. 445, 447, same bottom end. And yep, and you got the bearings, which is insanely expensive. Each little box is over $60, and all you have in here is those bearings. There we go, brand spanking new, and it even says there oversized 10 mil. So that's that. One for each piston or connecting rod. I got the main seal. It goes over there. So that's good. Also got a bunch of gaskets. I didn't buy all the gaskets because yeah, it's really expensive. It gets expensive. So most of the other gasket I'm gonna do. These are the gaskets for one is for the fill plug. The other one is for the CPR and the caps I just removed. So because this is really sensitive to tolerances, if I do my own gaskets for this part, the crank could be moving sideways. You guys with DSM knows what I'm talking about. And here I got the new piston, and it's all in one assembly. Only thing is they come from a 445, and the 445 has a different setup for the wrist pin. It's got a nut there, and you just slide it in and tighten the nut, and it keeps the pin in there. Versus the old one, the newer design, which is basically just a press fit piece. It just press fit into the connecting rod. The rods are a little bit beefier on a 447, but doesn't mean anything because they never go out, they never break, they never have a problem with those rods anyways. So I got everything I need to rebuild it, and I'm gonna be doing my own gasket for the heads and the cylinders. And yeah, I got that crank there. Just gonna get rid of those pistons here just so I don't damage them, but I just want to show you something in case you're still wondering about the actual size. It's really hard to convey size on the video, so I'll do a little something for you. There you go. So I'm gonna go in there like that, and it's not gonna hit anything. But yeah, so this is an air compressor crank. This is an engine crank. So this comes out of the car engine, this comes out of the air compressor, so you can see the sheer size of that thing. It's tiny. It's not a small crank, but it's tiny versus that. So you can see the size of those bearings, and yeah. So this guy, it's all wrapped up. I guess I could just open it up for you. There we go. So there you go. So that's one journal here on the car engine, and this is on the air compressor. That's pretty beefy. So that's it. That's all I have for now. Next thing is gonna be cleaning up the whole crankcase of this thing, and getting it ready to put the new stuff in. Yeah, still gotta get the bearings out of the other one. I don't know if I'll be able to save them. They're good, but if you don't pull on the right part of the bearing, you can always damage them. So I don't know, we'll see. So that's all for now, and I'm not sure if many of you are interested in that type of stuff, but I said, well, maybe it's worth it for someone, and if anyone stumble on the 447, at least they'll know what's in there. There's not much videos about it. I mean, if you type devair 447 into the YouTube search, all you get is a 3D animation and my video of when I picked up that thing. So at least now you'll see what the internals are and what's the size and why it costs that much. But yeah, it's pretty damn beefy, as you can see. This is not a small guy. Here's my crush. There we go. Gives you kind of a size comparison, huh? So pretty damn big. So anyway, we're not rambling for now. This video is already too long, so I'll hit it that and send it your way. So talk to you later.